Hey everybody, happy Sunday. It's been a while. I know, sometimes I go home and I come back on the road and I get out of the groove. Anyway, this video, I'm going to start with, if you're thinking about suicide, just wait. Don't do it yet. Just wait. I would say don't do it at all. But I want to encourage you to wait. Hear me out. So, some of you may know who John Burke is. And I didn't know who this guy was at all until I watched a season of Grit with John Cena. And John Burke was on there, and he's a combat vet in the Army. He was Army drill sergeant. Make sure I get the terminology right. We call them drill instructors. The Army calls them drill sergeants. I don't know why. Whatever. Anyway. So, he's pretty active on Instagram. And the last post he did, it had a picture of a sidearm on a nightstand. Non-military folks, that'd be a handgun or a pistol. And it was just talking about loneliness, isolation, fear, anxiety. The demons just running rampant in your head at night and just not knowing what to do, and all that stuff are markers of depression and mental health overall in general. And there's a lot of, we still have this issue with so many veterans committing suicide and PTS. And the thing is, guys, you got to understand that there is hope. You may not feel like it right now, and you may think that there is no hope. And it's not just you guys that have been in the military or are in the military. There are people in situations in life where it feels hopeless. It feels dark. There's a fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's never been like this before. Your life has never been this out of control, this chaotic, this uncertain. The future's never seemed so dim. You never felt like there's never been a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. But there is. See, the whole thing, his whole post was about have faith in the sunrise. And he created a hashtag that some people on Instagram are going to start using, have faith in the sunrise. And what it's saying is wait till morning. Guys, just tough it out through the night, wait till morning. Because the morning, the sunrise, it represents a new start, a new beginning, new opportunities. It's a whole new day. And like he said, if you're single, it may be the day that you meet your wife or your husband. It may be the day that job comes along you've been looking for. It may be the day that inspiration hits you to build something, to build a company or a nonprofit or whatever it is. You just don't know. But if you don't wait till the sun comes up, if you don't wait till morning, if you don't put one foot in step of another, you may never know. And there's no telling what people that are around you will miss out on, or the people that you're destined to meet, that you're destined to impact, what they will miss out on. And whether John Burke knows this or not, he's not a religious guy. He makes no bones about it. He doesn't have a problem if you're a person of faith. He just tells you that's not him. But he stumbled into something biblical, and he doesn't even know it. But I'm going to tell you guys anyhow. Psalms 30 verse 5. And I'll say 30 verse 5b, the second part of it. It says, weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Now, some of you say, well, that was a worship song. Nah, it is. It's a course in a popular worship song. But the psalmist, King David, penned that long before it became a contemporary worship song. See, he knew. If you just read the accounts in the Bible about King David's life, you will know he suffered and went through great hardships, great uncertainty. But he also knew this. If you just hang on, if you just wait, just put one foot in front of the other, if you live hour by hour, and if you just go day by day, it will get better. There comes hope. There comes a new day, a new dawn, a new creation. Things will get better. Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose hope. You may seem like you can feel like there is no hope. You may be going through a situation where you have an estranged spouse that's doing everything in their control and everything they can possibly do to stick it to you and to keep you from seeing your kids. I see it. I belong to a Facebook group, it's geared towards dads with daughters. We see numerous times a dad, all he wants to do is see his kids be involved in their life, but the mother has become so toxic that she has done everything she can in her power to make sure that the dad cannot see the kids, even when it's court-appointed visitation times. And you'll see from time to time one of these young dads like, I just can't take it anymore. I just can't do it. I see it on some veterans groups. Some vets talk about it. They just can't do it, man. The stuff in their head is just getting to them. The inability to work, the addiction or whatever it is getting to them. But what you don't understand is if you take that road out, when you're in a place like that, you don't understand what your actions of suicide will do to somebody else. You may think, well, it's the easy way out for me. I just can't take it anymore. Let me tell you this. It leaves a mess. It leaves a tragedy. It leaves guilt. It leaves all sorts of problems for the people that survive you. My mother-in-law walked in on my stepfather-in-law after he blew his brains out. In broad daylight, she walked in the house and there he was in his recliner and ate the bullet out of a hunting rifle. Another friend of ours in another state, her husband went missing. They couldn't find him. The friends and family orchestrated a search party. They found him in the woods. Same thing. He swallowed the muzzle. You know, these are just adults. The county, a neighboring county to us, has had 2 teenage suicides and 1 teenage attempted suicide in the 3 days I was home last. We have 22 veterans a day statistically that try to commit suicide. We have first responders that, because of PTS and the lack of available help, that commit suicide or attempt it. We have kids that cut. Why do they do all this? They do this because they don't feel there's hope. They don't feel that there's anywhere to turn to. Let me tell you, there's a stigma with getting help, and it is that you're weak. No, it's not. Weak is taking the easy way out. It's like it's like someone who has an addiction and they realize that, yes, I've got this addiction, I need to get help. So they go someplace to help them beat the addiction. It's the same thing with mental health. You come to a point where you realize that I can't do this on my own. I've got to reach out to somebody to help me carry this load. Jesus tells you in Scripture, He says, you know, the burden's heavy, but let me help you carry it. You know, He'll carry the load with you or for you. You know, and that's what people around you do. And we have these social media groups and these companies on social media that if you are feeling down or feeling like you have no hope, that you can reach out to them. But social media is very impersonal. You can say anything with a few keystrokes, but there's not the personal aspect of the relationship. That's why it's so important to build relationships and get out and interact with people so they get to know you. So, and you say, well, I can't get out. I don't have a job. I understand that. This is kind of a tough time for that stuff. But you got to be intentional and get out and interact with people, because the more you do for others, the less time you have to worry and contemplate about what your problems are. And yes, it's very self-sacrificing. It's very selfless to do it. But I'm here to tell you, some of the hardest times in our life in our marriage were the times we were most active in ministry, and it made everything seem that much more tolerable, and it made it appear to us as there was a lot of hope in the future, that things weren't as bad as other people thought they looked. Folks, get out and help people. Get involved in something. Create a project. Find busy work. Something to keep you busy. Billy Graham said it once. He said, in my day, we didn't have people on all these drugs and antidepressants because we didn't have time. We were too busy. You know, there's a lot to be said for that, for being busy like that. Idle hands, man. They say, you know, as the old saying goes, the old folks, idle hands is the devil's workshop. Because when you're idle, your brain's got time to contemplate on the things that trouble you the most. Guys, just remember this. There's hope. There's always hope. Reach out to somebody. Anybody that's going to give you a good word, an encouraging word. If you're a veteran or law enforcement, you show up at some veterans organization, whether the VFW, American Legion, Marine Corps League, the DAV, somewhere like that. and you see people there, just walk in, man, and sit down and talk to them. They're not going to turn you away. Even if you're not a member, you walk in and say, hey, man, I'm feeling, pretty down. I just don't know what to do. I guarantee you there's a room full of people that have been there. Veterans tend to grapple with this a little more than the general public. Because I'll tell you, I had no fear about leaving the boot camp. None. I had no anxiety. I was excited to go. I wanted to go. When it came time to come back in the civilian world, that's when all the problems in the head started. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to adapt. Civilian life was foreign to me. And I've been out a good number of years, guys. And civilians, still don't understand them. I still don't understand the civilian mindset. And it can be very lonely. You feel very isolated. But you got to be very intentional to not allow that to become the staple of your life and allow that to be the thing that causes you to lose hope. So guys, I take a biblical worldview. Jesus is there for you. All you got to do is call out to him, man. Pick up a Bible and read it. If you're not a religious type and you don't want to give that a shot, find someone to talk to, man. Find some veterans in your local community. Find some other people in your community that you can talk to. Find a single mom, find a widow that needs some help around the house. Find somebody who's had a spouse that's recently had an accident. A guy I grew up with literally since kindergarten through we graduated high school recently had an accident. He's paralyzed now. Now they've got 2 young kids, and his wife now has to go through the ordeal of him being wheelchair bound, the feeding tubes, the turning him in the bed, the remodeling the house, make a handicap accessible. You have no idea what a little bit of help from you would do to help ease that burden, help carry that burden. It'll be good for you. Volunteer with company is someone like Team Rubicon. But do something to give you purpose, guys. Find something to give you purpose. Just remember, there's always hope.